Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope everybody's having a great holiday. And I'm just taking a little ride. Overcast today. Just riding around some of these back roads. And gonna eat a little bit later on. I'm all set. I got two options. I can go with a Marie Callender's frozen turkey and stuffing and mashed potato dinner, or I bought a pound of turkey from the deli at Walmart, and I got a can of green beans, and I've got a box of stovetop stuffing that a homeless guy in Alpine gave me one time. I stopped, I gave him $10, saw him, and I'd seen him around town. His name was Philip. And I gave him $10, and he said, "Hey man, let me give you something." Well, you don't have to give me anything. He pulled this box of stovetop stuffing. He said, "Somebody gave me this, and as you can see, I don't have any way to fix it. I don't carry a stove around with me." So I've had that since I was in Alpine, so I might fix that up tomorrow or this afternoon. But yeah. But anyway, guys, Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving is probably my favorite holiday. And I have some real good memories of Thanksgiving, and I'll just tell you a couple of stories. When I was a kid, my dad did most of the cooking. He traveled a lot, but when he was home, he did most of the cooking. He was an excellent cook. He'd cook a lot with a Dutch oven, and so Thanksgiving, he would always make a pineapple upside down cake. And I don't ever even see those anymore. This is a pretty place over here at the pond. But yeah, and that was my memory as, you know, growing up. We'd always have a turkey, and my dad would always cook. Have that pineapple upside down cake for dessert. And later on, I remember when I got into the fire department, and I was still single then, I remember back what you do, single guys in the fire department, and I did it, you didn't have to do it, but you would work the shift for like family. If there was a holiday, several of us single guys would trade shifts with the guys that had families, and we'd work for them, and then they would just owe us the time, and we get paid back some other time when we needed it. But I remember doing that several times before I got married and got a family. When I got married, I got an instant family because I had two stepkids that I raised. So, yeah. And the Thanksgivings at the fire station were awesome. They still are. I mean, everybody eats good at the fire station. Yeah. We had some big old meals on holidays when we worked. So. And people would bring us things in, you know, people that lived in our city. I worked for a smaller city, and so people would bring us pies and cakes, and some of the restaurants that were in our city limits would bring us, I think Bill Miller's one time brought us a turkey already cooked and everything. So, yeah, that was pretty good. Really enjoyed. I enjoyed working holidays, you know. We all, like I say, we always ate good, and we had our meals interrupted several times during, you know, of course, for calls, but no big deal. There's some cattle out here in this field. But yeah, and then in the 80s and 90s, I remember my wife's grandparents had a big ranch up between Llano, Texas and San Saba, Texas. It was out of a little town called Cherokee. It was 3 miles west of Cherokee, Texas, if you want to look it up on the map. And it was 8,800 acres. And we had our own little house up there. It was being not politically correct. It would be termed as a back then they would call it a wetback house, okay? And they gave it to my wife and for us to use, and her brother. So we sort of went together, my brother-in-law and I and the wives, and we fixed it all up, made it real nice. It had 3 bedrooms, and so when we go up, we would usually go up. I'll get it out here in a minute. We'd usually have Thanksgiving at home where we lived in Bernie, and we would go up on that Friday and then spend, you know, come back Sunday evening. And that, it was really enjoyable. It was hunting season. Back then we all hunted and did some crazy things, you know. But rode around in the pastures in the pickup. Yeah, like I say, it was 8,800 acres, so it was a big place. Plenty of place to roam. But yeah, we got the house all fixed up, and we had TV in there for the ball games, you know. We pick up channels. We just had back then, just an antenna, but it would pick up channels out of Austin, and so we could catch our college games. You know, back then, Texas and A&M had a rivalry. They would play every Thanksgiving Day, and but usually we were still at home watching that. We did. I think we went up there for the actual Thanksgiving a couple times. But yeah, that was great memories there. I took several times. We took my best friend, who's passed away now, Butch Delgado, and his wife, and I believe his son went with us a couple times, and they had their own bedroom there. You know, there was Linda and I had our bedroom, and the kids had a bedroom, and then if we brought guests, they had their own bedroom. So it worked out good. It was a small. It wasn't a big house, but it wasn't that small, you know. And it was right on a beautiful creek. It was right on. This is a bad intersection. I got to sort of watch out here. It was right on Cherokee Creek, and we went fishing there. And my stepson, one time, he came running back. I believe this was on a Thanksgiving trip. You gotta come, you gotta come. He was about 10, I think. I just caught the most, he didn't say gigantic. He was so excited, he said gigantic. I just caught the most gigantic fish I've ever seen. And we thought, there's some cattle there eating out of that, eating those round bales. And I keep interrupting myself for cattle, but I guess that's all right. But yeah, old Brian, and so, I mean, it was a little ways down there. We walked down there. It was a little ways down there to get to where the spot he was fishing at. He had a stringer, and he'd put it on the stringer all right. Pull the stringer up out of the water, and he had caught like an 8-pound bass. That thing was gigantic. Yeah, he was trying to say gigantic, but couldn't. That just stuck in my head as a pretty good story. But I remember that kid was really excited. We cleaned it, and he wanted to get it mounted, and we brought it back to Bernie, and I had a friend who was a taxidermist, and I went and asked him, he says, Calvin, he says, your price on this thing is like, it was almost like $500 to get it. I said, well, Brian, guess what? You're not getting your fish mounted. Because back in those days, yeah, we weren't able to spend that much to get a fish mounted. So he'd kept it frozen, you know, and till we got back. So I guess we baked it or did something with it. So, but yeah, we had some great times up there. I remember Butch and I, we would hunt out of my truck, and we were in the truck just driving around, and we went behind. My brother-in-law lived up there, and he he had a herd of deer behind his house, and I remember he had warned us not to shoot any of his pet deer, the ones that were right behind his house. So we drove past them one evening, and Butch goes, "Are those the deer?" Because this buck like walked up to the truck. "Are those the deer?" I said, "Yeah, we can't. That's his pet." So yeah, we left them alone. But anyway, guys, that's looking for a little side road to get back off here. I sort of got out here on this. This road's got a little more traffic on it. This is 2048. So right up here I can cut back off because I got people. Well, I did have people behind me. They turned off, so that's good. But yeah, so Thanksgiving, but you know, it's got some great memories for me. It's between the fire station, or growing up, you know, with my dad cooking, and the Texas A&M and Texas football game, and then, you know, working at the fire station. It was always a very enjoyable day to work, and then going up to that ranch, which we went up there till they sold part of it, and my wife still had about like 100 acres that she inherited, and we had a power pole put on it with power, and let's see, I think this is my road I'm going to turn on. I don't want to miss this. Yeah, we had a power pole put out there, and we had a fence that was built around where we put our old fifth wheel trailer. We would leave it up there, and we had the fence right around the immediate area because the cattle would they would come up and lean against the fifth wheel, and it could actually dent in the side of a trailer. They were so big and heavy, and I would haul water down to it in big 6-gallon cans, plastic cans with lids that you used to be able to buy, or you still can buy them. And because we had a windmill up there up on the north end of it, and I would go up there. I was able to get drinking water, and you know, water for the shower, and so I would haul the water down, which wasn't any big deal. And yeah, we had that trailer there for several years, and actually until my divorce. Yeah, and then I lost my ranch privileges after that. So that's the end of that story. But anyway, I'll go ahead and shut it down, guys. I just want to talk a little bit about today being Thanksgiving. I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and just remember what that holiday is all about. You know, be grateful for whatever you have. You know, that goes a long ways. Let me tell you, when you think you got it rough, just look around the corner. You know, look at some other people. I'm blessed with what I have, you know, and I know it. So sometimes people lose sight of that, though. So all right, guys, peace out. Stay blessed. Keep that positive attitude, and I hope you all get full bellies and good naps today, later. And eat all you want today and suffer tomorrow, or whatever. Adios, my friends. Bye-bye.